Hello everyone, my name is Muntasim Hussain and today we are going to be talking about utilitarianism on our presentation. We'll explore this major ethical theory that has shaped our moral thought about morality, law and social justice. We will discuss about two great thinkers in this theory, Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill. In this ethical theory asks a fundamental question: what is the greatest action that produces the greatest happiness for the greatest number of people? This ethical theory sidelines the factors like duties, morality or rules to the tangible outcomes of the consequences of our choices. Now, my teammate Safia Taslim will take over the next part.
Now I will talk about the minds behind the movement. Utilitarianism emerged in the late 18th and 19th century. It was largely shaped by two remarkable thinkers, Bentham and Mill. Their writing contains the fundamental statements of utilitarian moral theory. Bentham wrote an introduction to the principle of moral legislation in 1789, where he argued that the law and actions should aim at the greatest happiness of the greatest number. Mill, a follower of Bentham, took the idea further. He believed morality is not only opposed to pleasure but is actually about promoting human being. Mill also emphasized personal freedom, saying society should only interfere with individuals to prevent harm to others. Now, I would request my next team member, Afreen, to continue.
Thank you. Here behind the utilitarianism is called the principle of utility. Do what brings the more happiness to the greatest number of people. Actions are right if it brings more happiness, and actions are wrong if they bring sadness or harm. On consequentialism, impartiality and welfareism. It cares about the results or consequence of action, not intentions. If building a safety barrier on bridge to jumping stop people or save lives, utilitarianism supports it because it brings more happiness. Every person's happiness counts equally. It's the utility of it's the core principle of utility. Now I would request my team member Srimi to continue.
Everyone, I am Sabiqul Nahar Afnan. I am from the Department of English and Humanities. Now I am going to talk about the types of utilitarianism and calculating happiness. There are main two types of utilitarianism. Number one, act utilitarianism, which individual actions. For example, breaking promise if it brings more happiness overall. Number two, rule utilitarianism. This focuses on general actions. For example, a society where everyone keeps promise will bring more happiness. Utilitarianism requires us to think about the overall consequences of our actions, not just for ourselves but also others who are affected. For example, number one makes me and two others happy. Number two makes me unhappy, but others five also makes them happy. According to utilitarianism, according to utilitarianism, number two is better because it maximizes the total happiness. Thank you.
Now I will talk about the pleasure and pain. For Bentham and Mill, happiness equals pleasure and the absence of pain. Bentham said nature has placed mankind under the governance of two, serving pain and pleasure. Mill pointed out that pleasures come in different forms, from simple bodily pleasure like eating to higher pleasures like art, knowledge, or happening others. Importantly, utilitarianism treats happiness and pleasure as the only intrinsic good is themselves. Things like wealth or fame are only valuable if they bring happiness. Now I request my next team member, Afnan, to continue.
Hello, I am Populista. Now I will talk about the criticism of utilitarianism and conclusion. Utilitarianism has some key challenges. Critics argue it may justify lying, stealing, or breaking promise if they increase happiness. Another issue is how to measure and compare different people's pleasure and pains. Despite this problem, it remains one of the most difficult theories. At its core, utilitarianism seeks to maximize happiness and minimize suffering for the greatest number. Thank you for listening.